Hello everyone and welcome to lesson 2 collecting Revit elements with the application programming interface or API. Today we will explore one of the most powerful tools in the Revit API, the Filtered Element Collector. This is how you collect elements like walls, floors, doors, or anything else in your model using Python. As always, we begin by importing the libraries we need and getting the active document. This gives us access to Revit's data model and element classes. I'm going to copy the Python nodes that we wrote in the lesson 01 and edit it and clear this to this line. Now let's use filtered element collector to get all walls. I'm gonna name it collector and I'm going to use filtered element collector. Inside our document. And I'm gonna name it walls. And from collector, we are going to retrieve our classes. In this case, element, walls, two elements. And as an output, just going to be a list of our walls. And let's save and run the script. As you can see, we've retrieved all the 4 walls inside our model. Here we are creating a filtered element collector passing in our document. Then we call .off classes inside parentheses wall to get only wall elements. .toElements parentheses finalizes the search and gives us the actual wall instances. Now let's use built-in category to filter by category. Instead of filtering by class, we can filter by category using built-in category. The key part is here where element is not element type. This ensures we only get placed elements, not the types. This is essential when collecting elements like doors, furniture, or lighting. I'm going to clear these 2 lines. And instead we are going to retrieve our doors. So I'm going to write door collector dot of category built-in category which in this case is OST underscore doors, and we say where element is not element type, and of course 2 elements. And as an output, we're gonna have our doors. Now let's run this script. And as you can see, we retrieved 2 doors in our project. But you might say, how do I know built-in category of doors? If you use an add-ins named Revit LookUp, if you go and select your door and snoop selection, in the category field, you can see built-in category of this element is OST underscore doors as a value. Let's try collecting another type of element, levels. This returns all level elements and extracts their names into a simple list using a Python list comprehension. So I'm going to delete these lines and name these levels filtered elements collector from this document, and of class our element is level, and of course 2 elements. And now we are going to name these 2 level names. And inside the curly square bracket, we are going to say level name as an attribute for level in levels. Actually here I'm using for function. Now let's try to retrieve our level names and hit run. As you can see, we retrieve our levels inside our project. Now let's to get element IDs and names. This is a useful output format. We combine the element's ID and name into a readable string. This is great for debugging or exporting element lists. Now I'm going to clear this to this line and say walls as we used filtered element for this lesson. Dot of class in this case is wall, and of course where element is not element type, and 2 elements. I'm going to name my output as wall info, and inside the brackets I'm going to say quotation mark ID colons curly brackets and for the name attribute the same. And I'm going to use format and as an attribute we are going to check for ID and name. Since we need to get all the information from all the walls, I'm going to use in the same line for loop function for W in walls. Now we say out and it's going to be wall info. As you can see, we combine the element ID and names together as a string. However, these curly brackets here are placeholders used in string formatting with the .format methods. You now know how to use filtered element collector to get any type of element. You can filter by class, category, or both and get either element types or instances. Next time, we'll look at how to read and write element parameters so you can inspect or automate changes to your Revit model.